And like how I stood out from most people,
Right.
because I understand that it's a very competitive market. And I'm sure that I wasn't the only person that called you.
Right.
So how was it like when let's say, as far as you could think, right? How I reached out, my approach, what you felt comfortable with, what you felt confident with, and what distinguished me from all the other agents that were calling you.
So again, like I said, it was the follow-up, bro. I feel like you just calling and just reminding me, hey, Carlton, listen, I'm your guy. If you need, whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, like I said, when I was ready, you responded within, I want to say, less than 20 minutes, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
It
Like
was fast.
you were fast. Yeah, I sent the email because I was at work, right? And you know, I was just thinking about a lot of things and my mom and stuff like that. And I was just like, you know what? It's time.
Yeah.
It's a new year. I think we just need to get rid of this and start fresh.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So I went to my email and I was just like, I couldn't remember the name. All I did was type in realtor. You know what I mean? And then the other gentleman that I told you about, he would constantly text me. So I had his text
Yeah.
in my phone. And then, like I said, I shoot the email to you and I called him. And he didn't respond right away. But I think you responded. You
Yeah.
responded via email and you're like, hey, let's get on a call.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, I think just your approach in terms of you're already educated on and you had knowledge of the place.
Yeah.
You already
Was already informed like of what was kind of going
because you were,
on.
and then you started to go into what's going on with the market right now. Like you were providing information. Like it was an influx of information. Like you just going. So I'm like, okay, all right. So this dude know what he's doing.
Sharp.
You already know the property. You were already telling me, hey, listen, I think you can get this for it, because I was in doubt, bro. I was just like, it's not a brand new place.
How often was it on the market? It was on the market for a couple times, right?
So the first person I engaged, they didn't even do a MSL or what's it called, a L
CMA.
CMA, right? They didn't even do that.
That's terrible.
They actually said they had somebody that was looking at home or looking at house already, and signed the whole thing. And I realized I wasn't getting any kind of feedback, no kind of calls. I would call her. I was just like, hey, what's going on? Oh, I'm working on it, Mr. Henry. Blah blah blah. It was just, not working out. Anyway, I let the time run off because there was somebody that was renting there already.
Right.
So I was just trying at the time.
Right.
The second guy actually sold my cousin the house, so he was very familiar with the property.
Okay.
And so I went in. I was like, listen, you're the guy because you already know the property. You worked with my family already. Let's do it. Sign everything. And he's like, yo, what you want? I said, $490. Like, all right, no problem. His approach, at times, I started to get frustrated because he was forcing me. He was forcing my hand to just take whatever offer came on his table.
Okay.
Right? And that's when, at that time, I had just refurbished, bought new furniture and everything. I was just like, all right, I'm going to try the Airbnb thing. But before I do,
Right.
let me think. So he had the house when it was empty, but still had the furniture and everything brand new inside there. So we actually mocked it up for him. You know what I'm saying? Also, one of the problems he had was in that master bedroom where I split, where they would cut it in half.
Right.
Right. He was like, oh, you might have to take that down.
He was building hoops for you to jump through that made it a little bit more complicated for you.
Yes.
I got you.
Yes. Yes.
And you were in Georgia already at the time, right?
I was.
Okay, so it
Well,
would've been...
I was back and forth because
Right,
I was
but-
still working in New York, but I was back and forth. I was remotely most of the time in Georgia, but then I would come and stay in the basement. I was camping out in the basement.
Oh, that was you bench pressing.
Yes.
Big
That
boy
was me.
weights.
That was me. So yeah, I got frustrated with him just because of that. Like, I don't think you had my interest. It was more about analytics for him. It was more about closing that deal and getting the money and moving on. It wasn't about, me getting the money that I needed to go do whatever I needed to do.
Right.
Right? There was times when we would have conversation and I would tell him outright, like, hey, listen, the interest rate is not my problem.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the bank and the buyer's problem. That's
Right.
not my problem.
Right.
Don't tell me about the interest rate. This is what I want. Try to get me as close as possible.
Yeah.
So, that's where my frustration with him. And then, fast forward to you now. Like I said, bro, like your approach, your execution, right off the rip. You came with a full-on PowerPoint, bro. Remember, we had a
Yeah,
call.
yeah,
You
yeah.
came with a full PowerPoint. You provided all of this information. I was able to review that. I was able to show my wife because my wife is she's a teacher, very particular. She very detailed when it come on to certain things. I had that information to be like, babe,
What do you think about
what do
this?
you think about
Yeah.
this? And she was in the kitchen at the time that we were on the call.
Okay,
And she was
okay.
like, yo, this guy sounds very intelligent. I was like, yeah, he's a younger guy. You know, he knows what he's doing. I called you back the same day to say, hey, listen, it's you.
Yep. Yep.
Right. So, again, your approach,
Yeah.
the way how you spoke to me, the way how you had knowledge of the place already, you just wanted to confirm some things.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? I appreciated that.
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate
and
that.
And what about like pricing, for example? Because you said you wanted 490, you wanted
Right.
490,
Right.
and everybody kind of just
Bro,
took that and ran.
You exceeded my expectation by 100%.
But what happened when you told me the same thing? Because you told me the same thing you told them. I want 490.
Right,
What
right.
happened when we had that conversation?
Oh no, you were like, now the approach I'm gonna take. Here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
We're gonna set it at this price and let it be a bidding war. I was just like, are you sure? Because again, I was very skeptical because of what the place looked like.
Right, right.
It's not a brand new house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not have all of the stuff, the new
Right.
fixtures, all of that kind of stuff. So
You was running that equation through your mind and kind of seeing,
it
all
was-
right, how
yeah,
how
you know what I
possible
mean?
is
And then-
this?
and, like I mentioned about the basement. The basement is
Right,
what it is.
right.
Like, it's very old. A matter of fact, there was a studio in there before I bought it.
Yeah.
That's what they used it for.
Okay.
I turned it into what it was.
Okay.
You know
Okay.
what I-
Yeah,
or
yeah,
what
yeah.
you saw.
Yeah.
So, again, in terms of just pricing and your approach, that was excellent, man. Like, I've never seen anybody do that before. You exceeded, bro. When you called me on the day and say, hey, listen, you have a buy for 500, I was just like, what? Man, I was dancing. No, seriously. Because again,
What did we list it for?
430, somewhere around 450.
It was 450. Yeah, it
somewhere
was
around
450.
450.
Yeah, yeah.
450.
Yeah.
I was just like, when you said, listen, 500, I'm just like, what? You're
Yeah.
able to do that, bro? Man, listen. And I already know what my wife was thinking. She's like, I know she was thinking vacation. You know?
She
what I
was
mean?
ready to go to Jamaica.
Oh, yeah, she was ready. She was ready. She's just like, that's the guy right there. I like this guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So then fast forward again to, with even that little issue with the walkthrough.
Yeah.
The way how you handled that, bro, again, exceeded expectations.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? I gave you something, you're like, no, this is what we're gonna do. I'm like, all right, do you think, brother?
Yeah.
Do you think? So that, you had my interest from the get-go.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. It was, I felt like we were bros. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna do this for you. Like,
Yeah.
You think the way how you approached it, you wasn't doing it for the money.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You were doing it to make sure that I have the smile I have on my face
Yep.
now.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And like I said today, like, you and Steve, bro, you did something for my family today. And that's why, I had to do a token, regardless of you guys like, oh, no, no, it's okay. No, don't tell me that. No. I got to show my appreciation.
I appreciate
You know what I'm
that,
saying?
man.
So,
Yeah.
for sure. I
Yeah.
appreciate what you guys did for me today. And
Would you ever recommend me to like any family, friends, anybody
I'm
that's...
gonna put a list together, bro. I'm
I
gonna
appreciate
get you guys. I'm gonna get you guys on the radar for some people, and
Yeah.
definitely.
And what I would say too is like the part that you said about it wasn't about the transaction, it wasn't about the money, it was more about helping you out. Like, I don't know what it is about me, but that's just my personality. Like, I really do my best to go out of my way and make sure that it's right, because if my name is on it, I don't want to be the guy that the transaction's through and maybe you accepted something, but then you didn't necessarily feel like I actually like did what I could have done for
Right.
you. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
sometimes you have those experiences where it's like you'll accept it, but it, you know, you could have done a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Right,
I wanted to
right.
make sure that I did absolutely the best that I could, and I'm happy to get that feedback from you because I really did try. You know, I did my best for you, brother. So
Right. And like I said earlier today too, I feel like there were times when even my tone talking to you, like you're just like, I hear you, Carlton. I hear you. I got you. I got you. I got you. I'll call you back in 15. You know what I mean? Even when even today, well, I think I was a little bit stern. Like after coming off the phone, I was just like, man, I think I was a little bit stern with, But you took it on the chin, and you're like, listen, Carl, I'm gonna call you back in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And you did call me back.
Yeah,
I
yep.
appreciate that, bro.
yeah,
I
because they
appreciate
wanted like 1,300,
Right,
and you were
right,
like,
right,
listen,
right,
I'm not
right.
with that back and forth
Right,
bullshit.
right.
You know?
I don't.
Yeah.
I can't do the back and forth. Like I feel like and this with anything, right? If you have the money to do it, just do it.
Yeah.
Like I'm never gonna come. It's said with a mechanic. I'm never gonna come and tell you how to price your work. I'm
Yeah.
not a mechanic.
Right. Right.
If you tell me, hey, listen, it's a G to fix my brakes, I'm gonna take your word for it.
Right.
And then I don't know what kind of work, how much work you have to do.
Yeah.
So I'm never gonna shortchange your work.
I
You know
was
what I'm
willing to get a contractor in there. Like I was ready to, start looking at everything with a microscopic
Listen,
scope.
You said it to me. Remember, I said to you, I said, hey, it's to get somebody to fix it. And you're like, no, make some call. I'm gonna call a window guy. I'm like, on a Sunday, really? I said, all right, do your thing.
I
Bro.
did text my guy.
Do your thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So again, I appreciate your service. I appreciate you doing what you're doing and continue, bro. Like, sky's the limit. If you have, I think you already mastered it. You know what I'm saying? So it's now to be a grandmaster.
No, I appreciate
You know
it.
what I mean? Like if you get to the point where you could just, listen. I don't even know what. There's nothing There's no advice I could give you on how to do your job.
No, I
You already
appreciate
know
it,
how
though.
to
I
do it.
appreciate it, though.
You already know how to do it. I think your approach, how you relate to people, how you know what people want. That speaks a lot, man. That speaks volume, bro.
Thank you, Carlton.
Volume.
I wish to do more business with you and your family, and cheers to the closing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Cheers.
Yes, sir. Cheers.